Villain mode. Maybe somebody might look to overtake what in Ritual just accomplished in match number 2, Monster. But as far as I'm concerned, you say villain, those two just look like they have an entirely different flow that they are working with. They're just moving so in sync with each other, and that's the kind of synergy that all these teams in these off-spawn battles are hoping to connect with. Mason and Empen look to tackle the challenge here now of winning out the battle at Fencing Fields. At the very least, certainly want to take that opportunity to try and secure the Mythic here as well as the Medallion.
Yeah, you can see Cove and Acorn being one of the few duels here as well at the southern portion of this. Nerface and Curly. Seems like they learned their lesson pushing into the vault a little too soon, too shy. Likely still thinking about that snipe to the face that they took earlier. Let's see how they're going to end up approaching the situation.
I feel like when you're on the receiving end of a snipe like that too, you kind of have to have the memory of a goldfish. Like, you just don't want to remember that that ever took place. Meanwhile, just north of Grand Glacier, Tex saw a little bit of the... We caught the tail end of that celebratory off-spawn fight win. As Bilox and Tex will now have the luxury of being able to freely loot out their drop here at the rescue station. Definitely feeling pretty good though by having those early 2 eliminations. Convict and Vanillas. So many floppers for Vanillas. Could definitely go for a little bit more shields though. Granted, we haven't seen exactly what Convict is working with, but Vanillas and Convict could potentially look to try and hold that team that's at the bottom of the hill from their drop. And just force Crackly and Joe into an engagement that could be really awkward from that elevation disadvantage.
Comes the rematch now. Edgy and Tavern here versus Golden. Not happy with the punishment. They're going to be the first to disengage a little bit lower, giving up the strong positioning here to the hands of Ozone and Golden just to hit the little reset, but I think Edgy's spotted out there. Not quite sure he's going to be safe for much longer. Ozone picking up the signals here that their Edgy is behind the wall. It's just going to be a matter of time now, I think, before they end up taking him out. But look at this, use the cones to go ahead and break the entire structure down. All right, I like the big play. The fall damage comes in too, but Tavern, no protection needed here. Edits the cone, slides around, nicely done. Both sides are hurt, but Edgy has to finish the deed off now. One tag is all it's going to take. Can he get it first? No shotgun, though. Playing it safe, trying to get that shotgun from his teammate, but no, misses the opportunity to find the tag. Edgy should have known better than that, and now pressure is really on here.
Reggie also probably wants to be careful.
What a great shield breaker there.
That's the perfect connection. That's exactly what Ozone was hoping wouldn't happen. Edgy still having 2 of those shield breaker EMPs. Granted, not gonna have as much effect now that Ozone has fully lost his shield. Ozone though, and Edgy, just a little bit of a standoff here. Ozone trying to look for an opportunity to heal. Edgy nearly getting the better end of Ozone for that too. Almost had the most punishing edit instead. Edgy still looking down on Ozone, trying to take out these stairs. But again, the war of attrition is going to be the primary issue here, as Edgy now down to only 3 builds. Have to imagine that Ozone also looking incredibly low on builds, if not out already. Edgy again, trying to force Ozone into a bad position, and will finally get the overhead jump on him. That's gonna be Edgy with the finish. Golden and Ozone now taken out, and with the reboot ban directly next to Edgy, he'll get Tavern back in this one, no problem.
You gotta love the respect from both sides. A high tier play between 2 exceptional players. Babaka Pars back to the drop, same side, beachfront, just winning it. Gets themselves a nice set of eliminations there once again, just padding the point threshold, making sure that they are ever that much closer now to the grand finals here of a top 25 placing day. Common and Vanillas, we already knew that their drop spot was contested. Seems like the Troubles were worth a singular elimination, and now they're just waiting things out, trying to see if they can weather the storm here.
Noxie and Chris, though, caught in the elimination feed not too long ago. That one elim that they have so far, that was on to Tahi. So somewhere near this area of Classy Courts, there's got to be a rogue scented. Have to imagine he's that lone player off a little bit east from where Noxie and Crisp are currently at here at Classy Courts. But that one elimination, that's basically all Noxie and Crisp were really after. They know, got a little bit of damage online. Don't want to spend too much time this far away from the zone. Got to start making that rotate now. Working their way down from the north side, though. They're definitely going to have some elevation that they can try and utilize. We're looking for tags on players that might be a little bit more west or east of their current location.
And if you're Clix and Epikwhale, I mean, pressure's on right now. Sitting in 22nd place when you load into this game. They've gotten a set of eliminations, though. That's big here. So cleaning up house at the Lavish Lair, we know they've been contested here. And if there was a game for them to finish it quickly, it would be this one. This is the one that matters most now. Before we go into, again, evaluating the point thresholds and then gearing up a new lobby, spinning up a new lobby for the last 3 games of the lower bracket teams. Acorn Crackley continue the fight here at the fencing field. We had 6 players land here. Crackley not being one of them, but rotates in. So Acorn and Cold haven't gotten a break just yet, and you can see that their material count is flexing just that story, right? This is the material count of a team that has been pretty much in place for quite some time.
But what I like that they're doing for the time being, you saw Cold. He's got a little bit of elevation based up inside of fencing fields, and Acorn has actually been sent on like the materials farm mission. I love that coverage that Cole was able to provide when Acorn nearly stumbled upon a couple of players at fencing that were looking to try and see if they could get a possible knock or elimination onto Acorn. Cole instantaneously shuts it down by reminding everybody that his Acorn's Cold. They've got more than enough accuracy to shut down a team that might be looking for a little bit too ambitious as far as 2v1 challenges are concerned.
You see TK and Bacon just putting a couple shots down on the team looking to flank them, and all of a sudden everyone disengages. No one wants to take a fair fight here. Things settle down here in the center of the map for now.
It's personal with these bushes at times.
Yamzo Rise, find Acorn in the feed. Quick finish. The full elimination there.
That's definitely going to make things tough as well. All things considered, definitely indicates that nothing has truly been decided as far as who's in control exactly at the fencing fields. When a team like Yamzo and Rise able to play such a heavy disruptor, but Clix Epic seems like they're about to encounter a little bit of a skirmish here. But yeah, Cold without Acorn now. Thought that he would be able to keep that protective coverage over Acorn, but Acorn straying just a little bit too far into the wrong hands. Yamzo Rise able to make that approach from that east side of fencing fields coming out of Little Villa area. And now Cold, the real issue that he's encountering is that it's definitely early enough he could look for the reboot card, but the problem is just making it there.
Just trying to see if Duke might have had the same problem as Cold did, but no, he still has threats. They are very much healthy. Long ways from their drop, though. Sitting in between Jiven and Piggle, who had absurd game number 2. Likely positioned themselves to be inside the top 25 already. But this is how you want to play this out right here. Slow, steady, edge your way towards end game here. More importantly, playing these bushes with the sniper definitely isn't a bad play by any means. It's one of the more popular ones of choice. Their subscript and freeze. Shots are coming in, so pressure's on right here, and they have the storm to worry about, so it's not going to be long before they have to crash that out of here.
I mean, it's definitely fortunate that they have these crash pads in the Flowberry Fizz because they've got a lot of ground to cover. They certainly want to try and clear the team that was taking shots at them. Now they've managed to be the ones to pull ahead. That's going to also force the team that was shooting at Sus and Freeze. Now they have to make their rotate because if they stay any longer outside the zone, it could be Sus and Freeze who actually look for the turnaround in terms of trying to hold that duo at edge of zone.
And again, keep in mind the idea is you use the ability, the passive effect from that Flowberry Fizz to really send you flying on crash pads or launch pads. So wait for them to like truly disengage there and turn that otherwise bad situation into a great rotate. For NPen and Mason though, we go from highlight snipes in game 2 to being parked up, still at the fencing field, so the zones have more or less favored them here. While this is all happening though, there are more fights happening everywhere. Ritual continuing the fight, continuing the pressure. Into the box they goes, and man, they just make it look too easy for some.
There's just nowhere left for Pilot to look in that circumstance. He's got Reet and Ritual just directly charging into his box. One in front, one behind. Truly nowhere left to run in that kind of engagement. Because now Ritual, Reet, they're just going to keep the aggression going as well. Ritual spotting out Tex. Slightly seeming as though he wants to try and maintain that line of sight here, but will opt to regroup with Reet for the time being. They've got the crash pads. Could definitely get some good ground coverage if they so choose, and that does seem to be the intention here. Ritual will be the first to move. Spotting out some boxes down below though, but it might be these boxes that Ritual's willing to take the fight with. Even on his lonesome, he knows that he's gonna have Reet closely behind, and it's over the cache as well. That is the real priority here for Reet and Ritual. Where a cache is, there will be another team usually, and Reet, Ritual, they just want the extra points, the extra eliminations, even if they don't need them. It's about sending a message sometimes, as Reet will be the first one to find a knock here onto Tex. Now looking for the ultimate collapse onto Bylox, who's just trying to squirm through these builds, but with no shields, nowhere left to run. Closing in, no problem here. There's Reet and Ritual now at 4 eliminations. Reet gonna pass off the medallion as well to Ritual, just to get the freebie shield regen back up to 50.
I'm telling you, man, we're just getting that Air Force energy out of Reet right now, like classic original W key. Just, you know what I mean? Tournament day, no pressure. He's even in his, you know, his original iconic fits, right? Just for the occasion, showing off for the live. I mean, you love to see it.
Can't help but feel though for Day and Redux, but it's actually gonna be Baka and Pars. We're in a whole world of hurt here. Baka tries to get the flopper off in time, just not gonna be enough. Took too much damage in that final zone take, even if low. It's gonna be more than enough to get the job done. An unfortunate close there for Baka and Pars, but likely we saw them towards that top 10 of the leaderboard. Likely still enough points to maintain that top 25 threshold.
And they were farming eliminations. Remember, they did get at least 2 that we know of off the drop, so it's not like a zero-sum game. And what are Elam's worth? 8 points, right? Or 4 points
4
each.
points
So
apiece.
for them to at least get 2, I mean, that's not bad. I think that surely keeps them in track for top 25.
You'd have to think as much. Either way, I'm sure those two likely not sweating in. Yeah, and you can see leaderboard points popping up there. Top right corner.
Oh, yeah.
Baka, Pars, definitely chilling. And once you've qualified grands, I mean, at that point, can't be bothered finding yourself with an early exit from this final lobby here in the upper bracket. This Ritual, he does lose read, so their aggression has finally been punished by the likes of Piggle and Jiven, but Piggle will pay the cost with his life. Jiven, though, still up and running. Looks like Jiven actually got the better end of Edge here. Now looking to tackle Nexies. Jiven doing an excellent job holding his own. But he's got to be careful. He's got Ritual looking to try and make this aggressive charge. Jiven again coming up big here with some of these frenzy auto shots.
Yeah, I think Ritual jumps in just for the reboot card. He gets the medallion as well, but now look, 2 teams are going to dive onto Ritual. Okay, so that's about wraps. This Jiven now has to play the savior right now. He's also done enough for the time being. Let's just watch that back. How did this all play out? We saw the exchanges, but you might be wondering how it actually started. It was onto Edge. He walks in, doesn't recognize that Jiven's behind that wall there.
Almost looked like a little bit of a medkit trap there that Jiven might have potentially set up. Regardless, unfortunate for Jiven that Edge was able to be picked back up by his duo there. So unfortunately, Nexi saving the day and preventing those 4 points to be added to Jiven and Piggle's scoring overall. But again, as long as Jiven is alive, their shot at maintaining, staying inside of the top 25, looking very good here. Although I am a little bit concerned, given that we last saw his positioning directly next to Duke and Threats. So best of luck to him with that one, but Clix Epic, they're gearing up for a crash pad rotate with Flowberry Fizz. One more time though, when you go skyrocketing through the air like that, bound to draw the attention of someone, and right now it's players over at the Rift Island. Caught a glimpse of Clix and Epic on that rotate. No shots though, really managing to connect just yet, so Clix Epic probably feeling pretty good here, just outside edge of zone, and likely making sure the coast is clear before fully pushing in. Might have some teams behind them as well that they can look to farm a little bit of surge damage off of since they got ahead with their positioning.
This is quite the congested fields right now. His teams have found themselves positioned a little too far north here. Rokan and Revise right now below the surge. Plenty of options to choose from. But up first might be the N.A. Malabuka, who's in the builds to the north there with Havoc. Little name change here coming into day 2.
Rokan and Revise though, kind of just lurking in the shadows here. Revise though will get paid for that ninja tactic. A nice knock to start things off. And that's gonna be Aiden taken down by Revised. Now Revised Rokan feeling comfortable with trying to get those grapple blades, pushing forward. And the zone here at Fencing Fields though, relatively flat area, Monster. It's gonna be rather exposing for some of these teams as soon as they start pulling out of that Fencing Fields location. Something to keep in mind, seeing which teams actually have a little bit of elevation working in their favor here is Cold Acorn, not on the high ground, but definitely in a safe enough position. And Cold just trying to keep an eye out for any sort of damage application opportunity.
I like the spot that they're in. They're on the edge though. Teams are gonna have to push just a little further to them. What do we have here? The heavy congested position. Surge is also active. You can see teams in front just getting lit up right now. Def and Polarized likely too far to catch audio cues from this, but look at this. They've also had quite a troublesome game as he doesn't have any heals to work with here. So what's at the top of the mind is definitely damage, but also making their way to safety here shortly. And there, can't sit idle for too long. They should have known that it was going to be this way. And the Quang jumps out. What just happened? Where do you think you were going, buddy?
Oh, that's tough though for Death. Probably recognized it on his way out. Doesn't get an opportunity to pick up that med kit and is still just barely holding on though with that elimination. Slightly above that damage threshold for the time being, but Death still just having to expend all of his materials. Unfortunately enough though, grapples one box too far. TK and Bacon gonna take full advantage of Death getting isolated from Polarized. And now it's up to Polarized. See if he can pull this one through for the duo. This is a really tough spot to be in though, MDF. He's got a body of water in front of him if he chooses to try and cross. No mobility either here for Polarized, so he's gonna be fully exposed or having to expend practically all of his mats if he wants to tarp his way through safety. Maybe he can look for somebody else's crash pad on a recycle, or he can just opt for a refresh entirely. It's Polarized.
This is crazy.
Actually going back into the thick of the action here.
Yeah, if you have a window open, I mean, Polarized, put it all out there. You might be wondering, why would he go to such extent? Top 25 is all that matters here for these first 3 games. After this, we're going to be jumping into a fresh bracket where top 15 will be the cutoff. So you want to do it here and now. You have to pull the plays out. You only have one more opportunity to do it, essentially, before the break. And for Polarized, I mean, he really did put it all on the table. You have to respect it. Looking like a madman hopping around the battlefield there for a second, but here we have it. Epikwhale Clix are one step closer now to solidifying their positioning. They came in 22nd place. Fingers crossed for Clix and Epikwhale to continue to survive until placement gets divvied out. We are just now at the top 25, but 15th, 10th place or so is really where you want to get to for the points start to reflect heavily.
Yeah, the main thing here for Vanillas and Convict, rotate certainly not the ideal one, just having to expend practically all of their hearts. Vanilla is stuck now, trying to maneuver with these wood builds. Lost Convict in the process as well, but still managing to hang in there. Every little bit counts. You never know. Another team might fall before you. Just boost that placement all the higher. Already 8 points as well off the 2 eliminations that Convict was able to secure earlier on. Vanillas, though, directly above Clix and Epic. Just trying to stay silent. Trying to stay more towards that backside of the zone. Probably going to keep hanging around these low ground layers. Macwood and Blake, on the other hand, right now they've got the height overview. As we approach the zone, Macwood, Blake still trying to keep things going. And nice rotate off of the flow berries. So Blake and Macwood seemingly like they're going to be able to maintain their height leverage here. Rokane revives though, definitely encountering a spot of trouble here. It's Rokane. 1 HP, 50 shield, but at least 2 eliminations in tow for this duo. Clix though, and Epic.
Whoa,
challenging Blake.
Big knock right there in the full finish. And no, not the emote. Oh no. The homie, the friend, the Texans going head to head essentially right there. You hate to see it. Rokane now, though, underneath the surge. The damage has been done. Can he get the... Oh, yes, he can get the mini off in time, but that was the last one there. A couple players have to go down here or tag, but no, it's not going to be enough. He gets finished instead. Vanilla's still in the game here. Gets his knock onto Jivid. There it is. The finish. Down they both go. Inside the top 20, though, so I think Jivid fans might be pretty happy there. He might have done just enough.
Jiven and Pickle were already looking pretty set for that top 25 because of their game 2 performance. Jiven just did his best to try and solo clutch as many points as possible. Mason and Npen in these mid-ground layers, though, decent amount of chaos breaking out here. Mason, final shield potion will be opted to be used. Just now, again, once the wood starts coming out and it just seems like that's the encouragement the lobby needs. But big shots here from Mason. Nice elimination onto 0. Might have been enough. A few more builds in hand now for Mason as he drops the ultimate low. Mason and Empen, though, still working as a duo. 6 eliminations is some fatty points already accrued. And now Mason gonna opt for an earlier med kit. Zone tick damage, Storm causing a little bit of issues here, but again.
No way. Day is alive right now. We've been waiting for this all weekend long for him to get this moment once again to play for a big endgame, a huge elimination here. That's a top 10 and a 4-point elimination swing, of course. Meanwhile, high ground, very, very nicely held here by Clix and Epikwhale, who have 6 eliminations, win conditions in hand, and they're setting themselves up to go ahead and punch their way straight to grand finals. It has been done. For others, though, the fight continues on. The edging towards top 25 is in question here.
Impressive stuff, though, from Rise, that he's still managing to stay standing tall here, working in a bit of shambles situation, but again, doing everything at once here. Gonna drop another layer, spotting out some players, some solos running around in this low ground. Rise wants to see if he can try and get the attack going on today. Just needs a little opening, but Day slightly quicker with it.
Day might have just punched his way to the grand finals, by the way, out of nowhere. 52-point game just like that. And Tavern might have too as well. A second place is nothing to be upset about. Clix jumps down, the drop quick, the swift justice, and finishes off the game with the win there for 7 eliminations alongside the GOAT Epikwhale as well. What a grand finals we're starting to gear ourselves up for.
It's looking like an exciting grand finals. I mean, they're always exciting, don't get me wrong, but the script does continue to impress. Want to give a big shout out to Kelly for her encouragement. You almost want to believe that Clix and Epic, you know, they might have heard that little bit at the start, and Kelly had the right mentality there. She's just like, hey, you don't want to jinx them by saying they're going to do great, so now we're going to question the performance, and what do they deliver? A victory royale. It doesn't get better than that.
Kelly knows that her deep NA West roots never fail her, especially when it comes down to putting one on Epikwhale, if you will. Well played for Epikwhale and Clix there, and also Clix giving us the show. Let's not forget he hit the wonderful emote onto Blake. We love to see it.
Yeah, you know it had to be an exclusive performance there for Blake. Clix was never going to let him get away with that one, but impressive stuff coming out of that duo. But they're not the only ones that were looking for a top-tier performance here, MDF. It's that top 25 that we got our eyes on. So, Zeke, Vivid, Kelly, what's that leaderboard looking like?